Hello everyone, today's project is the Grattage project, and the first thing we want to do is place our paper with the glossy side up, and we are going to start to color the whole surface with an oil pastel that you're going to find this set in your box, and you can choose as many colors as you want to. You can go with any pattern that you feel like. You can see I'm going with absolutely random shapes and sizes of different colors. The main goal is to cover the whole paper with a nice solid layer so you don't have any gaps or areas that are not covered with a pastel. If you have any of those, the ink will not work on that, so try to go as solid as you can. And one more thing, if you want to, you can use your disposable gloves to during the time when you apply the oil pastel on your paper, just to keep your hands clean. Just want to mention the oil pastel is absolutely not toxic, it's safe and it's washable. It's just not to have it on your hands because it might take you few extra minutes to wash off after. So you can see I'm finishing covering everything, so including the edges, and you can see that I have absolutely random pattern, but if you want to, you can go with the stripes, you can go with the circles, if you want to put the rainbow. It's totally up to you, so go creative in this step. Now when the whole surface is covered, I'm just going to do little touch-ups and make sure all that little spaces that were left off are covered. And now it's very important to clean your paper from all the extras of the pastel to make sure your surface is smooth as possible. Put a few drops of ink on the paper, and now we are going to use any brush you feel like. I would suggest bigger one to spread it in order to cover the whole paper with a nice solid layer of the ink. You can see sometimes it might give you a little bit of hard time when you can still see through. Don't worry about that, just keep spreading your ink and it will get dry and it will cover everything eventually. So this is the best way to cover the whole paper. So you don't want to go too thin, but you don't want to go too thick either. You want to make sure that you don't have too much of the ink, otherwise it's going to create a very bubbly texture, and it also can create the cracks and will fall off your paper eventually. After you put all the ink across the whole paper, you can always add the second layer if you feel that the texture is really transparent. Just make sure, as I mentioned before, you don't have too much ink for that purpose. And the best way is to keep spreading your ink for about 5-7 minutes, so it's going to be more solid and nice texture. So you can see when it's done, it's all going to be black and it's going to be glossy, and then you want to leave it to dry for 10-15 minutes. And as soon as it's completely dry, you can choose what stencil you want to use. In this sample, I'm using the octopus one, and place it on the paper and start to outline the stencil with the wooden stick. When you outline it with a wooden stick, it will scratch off the layer of the ink and reveal the pastel on the back, and it will create a very nice bright color effect. So when you use your wooden stick, you don't need to put too much pressure on that. It will scratch off the layer of the ink easily. And you can see here on the left, I have extra layer, like two thick layer of the ink that I was talking about, and you can see how it's chipping off easily, so that's why we want to avoid too much ink as well. And then we're going to finish the outlining of the stencil, and it's better to not to put too much pressure, but to make it a little bit more bold. After you outline the stencil, you can put it away. And now I will ask you to outline your stencil again. And you can see that's how the ink chipped off a little bit, but we will have chance to fix it. So don't rush to fix anything. If anything goes wrong and you put the line that you don't feel like it belongs to your drawing, or if you create any mistake, don't panic. There will be a time in the end when we're going to fix all the little imperfections, and for now just make sure you outline the silhouette of your creature or whatever object you put on your drawing with a very nice bold and bright line. You will see what a difference it will make if you will go with a really nice bold line. After you outline the silhouette, now you can start to decorate your image. You can put all the little details. You can see now I'm sticking to the dots on the bottom of the legs of the octopus, creating this typical pattern on his legs. It's more rounded type of pattern, but you can go with your own if you want to. You can stick to my sample here, even though you have a couple more papers, so you can create all the different creatures that you feel like. And you can see on each leg of the octopus I put this little dots on the bottom of those. Now I'm going to put the eyes of the octopus, and then I'm going to add the decorations on other parts of it. And you see I'm making everything nice and bright, so try to using just one thin line. You can see now I'm going with the whimsical lines on the body of the octopus, and you can go as creative as you want to with that. After I add the whimsical lines, and I'm going to add some highlights on the legs, and also I'm going to add some highlights in the front area. You can see that it goes right from the top towards the bottom with kind of upside down V letter. There are two of them, but they can be pretty random. And also going to add the highlight lines on all the legs. In order to do those, you can just add the lines that go a little bit more inside the leg, so you have a little gap between the silhouette line and the line of the highlight inside. And then I'm going to just keep going and brighten up some of the areas. You can even shade some of the parts to make your octopus more bright. You can even scratch off the whole areas if you feel like to make it brighter. So now I'm going to add a little bit of the reflection line, or the highlight is same way as I did on the legs on the body of that. And now I'm going to create the bubbles all the way around. To create the realistic looking bubble, you can create just the circle, and then you want to put a smile inside that circle, but without the eyes, just the smiley shape of the mouse. And the secret of the bubbles is how you place those. You want to place those very random, and make sure that your bubbles are all different size. If you not going to make them bright enough, or you will try to do it too fast and just make the pattern that they placed, actual pattern that they placed in the same distance and they all same size, they're not going to look very realistic. So try to avoid that. And the bubbles is also a nice way to go with if you do the jellyfish project as well. So don't hesitate to use those on another piece of paper too. And now I'm going to just cover all the imperfections on my drawing, so you can see everything that got chipped off and all the little things that don't belong to my drawing. I'm just going to cover with an ink. Try to use just a little bit of ink just to cover those little areas, not to create extra layer for the drawing itself. Same thing, you don't want to have a bubbly texture that will start to peel off very quickly after it dries. And one more thing, after you will finish your drawing and you will cover all the imperfections, just make sure your ink is dry, and whenever you feel that your masterpiece is ready, my recommendation is, if you want to preserve it and you don't feel like using the frame, just make sure you at least put your drawing on a piece of paper. It can be any type of paper, as long as the size of the paper is going to be a little bit bigger than the size of the project. It will prevent you from grabbing your drawing and the ink part with your fingers, which can damage it, and you will always grab it with the paper edges, and it also going to will add a decent look to your artwork. And one more thing is that usually helps is, if you have any hair dryer in your house, you can add some hairspray on your drawing as well, just to preserve it as well, so the ink will not chip off, especially on the areas, if you have any areas that turn out a little bit extra bubbly. And after you finish this project or any other, you have a couple other pieces of the paper, so feel free to be creative. You can use the stencils that were put in your box, or you can use your own imagination and create something of your own. I hope you enjoyed the project. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you have any questions, or you have any you need any assistance, just leave the comment below. And have a wonderful day. Thank you. And one last thing that I just wanted to say, that in the very end of this video you will also see the different project This is the sample of a different project with a dragon that was made. So that was made absolutely the same way, with a pastel on the bottom, with ink on top. And you can see that here it's a little bit different details, and there's a scale as well. So all the little details and patterns always look really good on the grattage technique. So it's just a little sample for you if you want to continue, keep going with more and more projects. And once again, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.